Okay. All right, this is gonna be a demonstration video for experimenting with colors using the gradient maps. So, both photography, drawing, painting can use this method. I'm gonna have you guys use mainly Procreate to be able to do that. So, kind of like the whole purpose behind the use of gradient maps is it allows us a way to kind of like experiment, modify, adjust colors in the artwork that we have. Just to see like what are some of the possibilities we could do with color in the program. So um, this kind of goes against several of the I want to say like principles and like color theory, color mixing that you guys are kind of like used to traditionally. So um, I like to use this method, and there's actually a lot of different artists online that work digitally. They use like this method of using like black and white and you going into like gradient maps. So I was just gonna show you guys how to go about with that process. Okay, so for your assignment for a day, you either can pick out a photograph or drawing that you've done in the past. It could be traditional or something you did digitally. I mean, if you wanted to, you could even use like your last project that you worked on before if you finished it. We're going to use that as like the basis to do the coloring of the project. And even if you don't have it in black and white, for example, if it's like something that's already in color, we can always, adjust it back to, this has got like a million layers on here, but we can always like turn it back into black and white with the use of the gradient maps. Well, this won't go exactly black and white because I have like so many layers, but I mean, you get the idea. We can always go back to about black and white. So let me see. So I'm gonna just do this portrait one just to keep things really simple. And definitely you can use like your portrait assignment that you guys did over the summer if you want to just kind of experiment with colors on this. So I was going to show you guys a couple of different things you can do for colors. I'm going to go over gradient maps and then some of the different overlays because you have to kind of use like the mix of the two just to make it kind of work with your piece. So the way the gradient maps works though is you click on the wrench tool up here, or not the wrench tool, this is like the magic wand tool here, and then you can click on gradient map here. So Procreate kind of gives you some set gradients to use, and definitely like when you change and modify these gradients, these will like kind of stay in the gradients that you have here. So what I tend to like to do is I will make like one gradient map that kind of just like focuses on like skin tone. So in terms of like how the gradient maps work though, as you click on the little boxes here, that will change the colors. So you can change like the color, the value, saturation of the color. So like right here is gonna make it like really saturate, like the really bright orange, and these will kind of grayed out, and this will bring like the highlights. So on the very far right side, this is like where the highlights are. So you want to pick out your brightest brights, lightest darks, and then just like a gradual change from like light to dark on the left side. So I wouldn't go more than like 4 gradients, but you can create like multiple gradients on here. And then if you want to delete, you use your fingertips to click and hold the button, and then you can delete them. So just to keep things simple, I wouldn't do more than 4 of them. So you can kind of adjust the sliders to get the gradients that you look at. So I'm kind of just focusing on like his face, and I'm trying to get close to like his skin tone. So you can kind of like pick out like certain areas in the picture to get like the colors the way you want it, or you can go like really experimental with like the colors. So if you remember the example I showed you on the website here, you don't have to like make the colors look like what they appear. So if you want to play around with like orange, blue or green orange to kind of create like emotion or depth in the picture. Like I really like this piece here with the that's the one on the right here, where like everything's kind of blue and then there's like a little hint of light where it's like in color. So we'll try to do something similar to that with the highlight. I think that'd be kind of neat. But there's a lot of different ways you can incorporate colors into your work of art, and then even like photography, you can do like the same thing too. We can color grade like a black and white photo. Maybe like some other parts like orange. It probably won't be as complex as like what drawing painting has to do, but you can play around with some different things with colors for today. So once we got like the colors that we want, and I'm just gonna go with this. So again, you can always click and adjust, make it darker, lighter. I typically usually don't like to make it too dark, but if you click on the tab up here, you can change it to pencil. So this is actually affecting the whole layer. You can change it to pencil, and then you use the brush tool, and we can actually color in the areas that we want in color. So basically, if you wanted to color grade like a whole photo, you can do like individual gradients of parts of the drawing. So I'm just gonna color in the face here, and obviously you would go back with the eraser, take your time. My suggestions with like brushes that you're choosing, pick like a painterly brush. You don't want like a brush where it's like a super hard edge. As if I were to like use this brush here, like to clean up, it's like I know it's like this is like where this ends and that ends. You want to kind of create like the little kind of like blending effect. I always like using the painterly brush. I'll just resize it to, and just for today though, you don't have to worry too much about like having the colors look perfect. We're just kind of just experimenting with colors. Okay, so I have like his skin tone, and I'll definitely have like another video for skin tones, because you obviously have like your standard values here, but you definitely want to add more values in your picture. So click done, and then that will be done with that, because you click on the magic wand to get out of that. So that'll add the colors for his face. So one thing I forgot to mention too, and I'm going to duplicate this layer again. Do make a duplicate copy of like every layer that you're working on. So this layer, I'm going to change it back to black and white. She didn't mean to, because the thing with the gradient maps in this program is one nice thing about Photoshop is we can actually add like a gradient map layer to it, but this program doesn't have gradient map layers, so I suggest you add layers to it. So if you notice like this orange is like super bright, you can always kind of fade out the orange a little bit, to give it like a little bit more of a subtle effect. If you just click on the end, change the opacity. So if you just want to like color grade the whole photo, that's like probably the best process. So like maybe like the shirt could be next. I can do the same thing. Magic wand, gradient. Maybe I might want to give him like a blue shirt or something. So you click on the gradient, you can adjust the gradient. So I'm just only focusing on just the shirt here. So you can kind of go in like any order. You can like color grade it, or if you want to just go like right into the pencil, you can use the brush, color in that area, and we're just only gonna color in like the shirt here. So. And then we can kind of color grade it to how we want it to look. It's not really too many highlights on that, so we use the eraser. It looks, I kind of want to fade in like that blue color. I don't want to really have that be like all over the background here. And then click done, wrench, and you can do like the same thing. So again, I wanted to make another layer of that. Always make a new layer on everything. I just keep forgetting to change it. The only reason why you want to make a new layer though is because if you want to like play around with the colors. So okay, let me do that again. So okay, duplicate the layers, add the blue. So nice thing about the gradients you guys create, it's like already there. So I'm just doing it again. Okay, so now that blue's showing up a lot better. I was like wondering like what was going on with that blue. So that's like to add, just colors. Okay. So, and again, I would adjust the opacity of it. That's interesting. Okay. So that's one way to add colors. Another way you can do colors too is if you want to just like apply it to like the whole thing. So let me duplicate the scan. And let's just do a gray map for like the whole thing. So kind of want to use the same blue, but I want to do something a little differently with it. Let me see. Maybe put a little bit of purple. So it doesn't hurt to experiment with some different colors. So I'll go with like a darker purple, just to give it like a little bit of like a transition in colors. So same thing as before, or you can even just use the layer, and then if you want to just kind of play around with like adjusting this part here, yeah, that might look nice too. So I just gave it a little bit more of a purple hue for like the entire picture. Just kind of curious how this looks if I were to use the brush. So I'm just gonna color in the background here. Back with the eraser, clean it up. So I kind of want to just like only have him in color, but I kind of keep everything else really dark though. It's a little too saturated. Okay, but it's important that you do like really subtle changes though. You don't want to go too crazy with the colors. Oops. Okay, see how that looks. And yeah, a lot of it's just experimentation. You know, I've done this for many years, so I'm like really used to this process of coloring. Oh, whoops. We'll crop that out. Okay, so this one actually worked out really well though, but if you wanted to like even add more details to this, you know, you could also add a new layer on top. Maybe I'm noticing like, maybe I want some, you know, a little bit of like red on his cheeks. You know, we can, you know, use the, just create a new layer on top and then add a little bit of red. So maybe I'm gonna give this a little bit more detail to it. So this is actually like, you know, coloring in my picture here. And, you know, this is just to give him like a little bit more life on the face to make it more warmer. So this is actually covering my face, but if you want to like experiment with like the overlays, you know, this will kind of put it back in detail. So in general, the overlays though, like the top ones are going to go into like the shadows. The ones will go into the highlights. And then these other ones, they'll do something like different with it. So I would just kind of add some colors on top, see what it looks like. Actually, I'd like the multiply. So you can actually change the opacity too for it as well. You know, I'm just adding a little bit of like red to the face. So it's not really affecting my drawing at all. It's just giving it a little bit more life to it. So, you know, in most cases though, you probably need to do a little bit more with the picture. You know, maybe I can add another on top of it again. You can have like maybe just like darkness. So I just want to make this part a little bit darker on the edges. Just to see how it looks. So we kind of play around with the overlay again. Change the opacity. I do like a multiply because it's just like shadows right here. So you kind of go back and forth with this, and then you know, if you want to, after you're kind of like comfortable with like the colors you have, you can actually just start painting on top of the work, like adding like more details to it. So maybe I want to add some like highlights here on the face. As you know, all those colors I added though, it's like they're all like kind of blending in, so it's like, you know, I have to bring the highlights back out. I actually really like this blue right here. You know, what if I went with a lighter white? I'm gonna add another layer. So I'm just gonna get a big brush. See how this looks if I just put some white here. Again, you can change the overlays here. Oops. So the nice thing about these overlays though is, you know, depending on like the overlays you pick, you really want to affect your drawing. So this one I actually will probably use overlay for this. Yeah, it's just to bring out this highlight a little bit stronger on the face, so it'll be more of like a focal point. So this is a little too strong, so change the opacity. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. So after you've kind of done all those things, you know, you can even go next step further. Save this as a JPEG. You know, you don't want to lose those layers that you worked on. Maybe you might want to go back and fix some of the things you have on there. You know, I would just add a new layer or add the picture again. And this would be so easier if it was like Photoshop. Photoshop, you can make it into like a different layer all the time. So we're just adding this layer back on here. And yeah, maybe I might want to just do some slight color balance adjustments. So some like slight colors. I really like playing with this because this is just like little ways to change the colors, but not, you know, destroy the, or not like change the painting too much. And some things that tend to happen too is sometimes your colors get really saturated, so you definitely lower the saturation down a little bit. Lower saturation. I might want to keep some of the saturation on the face though. I don't know if that did anything. You know what, we can keep it like that. Okay, it was kind of like, you know, before, after, just so you guys can see the change. Yeah, just adding some colors to, you know, bring it to life.